Welcome back to Where Rangers Walk. Gareth says, Noddy to Cook, to Dunn, to Clark Slater, to Powell, to Clark Slater, to Cook, Noddy, and repeat. I think we get the message. Why are Queen's Park Rangers so slow in the build-up? Are they the world's most boring team to watch at the moment? After the last season, it's hard to believe we're even saying those words, but what is happening at Loftus Road? We've got Michael and we've got Jared back to discuss that. Thank you very much for watching. Do drop us a like. Do drop us a subscribe. It's Where Rangers Walk. All right, so we're reviewing QPR 1, Millwall 1, and we're also looking ahead to the next game as well. And we're also going to find out a little bit more about Jawed and what made him support QPR. So let's jump straight into this. We're also going to review some right-backs as well. Michael, kick us off then for us this week. Slow, dull, boring. These are just some of the words that social media have come out with. Are they right?
Yeah, I mean, it was passing all the way around back. Midfield passes back, just full of backward passes and hoping to get them on the counter attack, but it was difficult to do so when we were just sideways passes the whole game.
That must be a coaching thing, though, Michael. Surely.
I mean, I think Cifuentes is a clear style of play. He implements that build-up play, the passing around the back, the goalkeeper being good with his feet, but it is getting dull to watch. Yeah.
Okay, and teams will suss that out. I'm sure. Jawed, what's your take on it? I feel like we've been here many times before. This sounds like a bit more Ainsworth conversation, though.
I think last season he obviously realised what he was getting into. He realised that you had to be a bit pragmatic in a relegation dogfight, maybe sacrifice some of your principles. And I feel obviously now he's put his mark on the team, on the squad. He's clearly trying to get his way of playing across. But against a team like Millwall, who are always going to be well organised, who are physically very strong, it was their dream. They could get back into their shape. They didn't have to press. They didn't have to do much. And I'll be honest with you, I thought they played it really, really well at the weekend. They're probably the best side that I've seen this season. And we just didn't have the guile to kind of adapt in the game. It was just the same thing. He made subs quite late. Yeah, something just not quite right at the moment, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that all those points you both made were echoed on social media. And Rob says, when are we allowed to discuss tactics and how wrong they are? Dembele wing, Anderson wing. Anderson's performance is one of the worst I have seen live. The messing around with the ball at the back, lack of bravery on the ball, the bland football, poor. And Up the R's, of course, says that we were fortunate today. We seriously need to improve our home form. Let's talk about this wing thing then. It's come up again and again about Dembele, Michael, and I mean Anderson clearly had a bad game. He wasn't the only one to be mentioned in just one tweet. But where do you stand on this Dembele debate, Michael?
Well, when we signed him, I saw a lot of Blackpool fans saying he was better off in the middle. And it seems strange that we've just kind of put him out the right, especially now Chair's out. It should be time where we play around with it. But to be honest, we've got so many options going in the middle and on the left that I feel like we've only really got Smith on the right. So he suits that kind of position, I guess. But I prefer him in the middle.
Okay. What about Anderson?
He was good for us last season. This season, I feel like it's taken him a while to find his feet. I don't know what's happened. He seems slower with the ball. He seems less alert. But I'm hoping that gets a bit fitter maybe, and then maybe we find our form with him again. But yeah, I'm just not really sure what's going on with him.
Jawad, any ideas how do you solve a problem like this?
I think Marti clearly trusts Anderson to carry out what he wants players in that position to do. I don't think he's maybe trust Dembele in that central position yet. I think Chair coming back will obviously add so much to that team. At the moment, he just doesn't seem to quite know the combination in the midfield. I think Colback's injured. Personally, if he's fit at the moment, him and Field should be the ones that start. And then ahead of that, it's just kind of Paul Smith even came on at the weekend and didn't have that impact that he's had in previous games. So that completely kind of stopped any momentum building in the second half. I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. I think we're going to have to be patient because there's still 3 or 4 players that are getting used to the pace of this league. And I think we're going to have to tolerate a few more performances like this. And the good thing is we aren't losing games, and probably at least 3 of the performances have deserved a defeat. I doubt there's one game that I can think of apart from Plymouth where we can say that we deserved it. So I think it's going to be a painful few weeks still, and then maybe look to get better by November time, maybe.
Yeah, I might start putting money on a QPR draw because it seems like the most definite outcome at the moment. I'm a bit tired of reading we need Chair back, but it keeps popping up. Poor match looking to the point. Not sure if Millwall are good or we made them look super. Chair coming back is important. We need to be more aggressive going forward and not just in spells. When is Chair coming back?
Well, I saw a picture of him in training recently, so I didn't know whether he was going to be on the bench on Saturday, but I'm hoping he'll be on the bench against Blackburn this weekend.
I think it's probably going to be a couple more weeks before we probably see him. They might even see how things are, and maybe after the next international break, I think. But yeah, can't come soon enough.
And Frey was the only one I saw getting positive ratings from fans. How did he do, Michael?
I mean, he did what he did best. He found the space behind the back line, and also Dembele needs to get the credit for the ball he put through and the dribble that he made up the pitch to get in that spot. But it was a good finish, and he seems to be finding his form, which is always good for a striker.
Okay. All right, let's have a look at right backs then, shall we? We'll leave the Millwall game there. This weekend it's Blackburn away, but we'll talk more about that in a second. We need to finish off reviewing our defensive positions. This won't take very long. In terms of right backs, I've been asking every team whether or not it's a problem position. I'm going to guess, Joward, you're going to say this is one of the areas you're concerned about the most.
Well, obviously Jimmy Dunn's first choice at the moment, but I think the more we see him there in the style we're currently playing, the more he looks like a fish out of water in that position. He gets so much of the ball, and I just see the play slowing down when it gets to his side. He doesn't release it to the winger quick enough, and he's done an amazing job there for the last 9 months. Don't get me wrong, he's been outstanding. But I think if he carries on playing the way that he wants to play, I think that is a position that might have to change. Ashby played against Palace last week, looked all right, nothing more than that. And Heverton again, I'm just not quite sure if he's going to be up to this league or not. So yeah, not great.
We've now completed, Michael, the full set of defenders and goalkeepers on this channel. Out of 10, where do you rate QPR's defence at?
7. I mean, I feel like we're well organised, but there's definitely improvements to be made.
Okay. Joward?
In a way, it's better than last season because the goalkeeper's a big upgrade, I think. But Steve Cook's another year older, made a couple of mistakes at the weekend. Jake Clark-Salter had a niggle a couple of weeks ago. So there's always that concern that if one of those lost form or was injured, then we would be in a bit of a problem, I think. So I'd say 7 with the potential for it to go down to 6.
Okay. All right. Well, if ever there was a game to predict it to be a draw this weekend, it's definitely your next fixture. Blackburn at Ewood Park. You've had some tough battles with Blackburn. Of course, you were in a right relegation scrap with them, of course, this time last season as well. Michael, how do you see this one going? They are undefeated so far and have had some very positive results at home. So, does he need to change anything for this one?
We definitely need to go out there with a different kind of style in mind, or to be adaptable. I do feel like we're too easy to read in the way we play, and especially with Smith coming on, I feel like players now have to mark him out the game. Whereas before he was just electric, but I can see it just being a 1-1 draw, to be honest.
Absolutely. So can I. Joward?
I was looking earlier. We've won 1 in 14 at Ewood Park, and that was last season. Our record there has been awful over the years. Some awful performances, awful results. My problem is the draws that we've had have been closer to defeats than they have been to victory. So it's going to take a big turnaround to get that victory there. If we can get a point, I think we'd probably take it now. I've got a feeling it'll be a scrappy 2-0 defeat, unfortunately.
Okay, all right. Comment below what you think. What you think is going to happen, and also if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. We want to get our QPR numbers well up, so if we can get to at least 30 subscribers, we'd be very, very happy. We know there's lots of other content you could listen to in terms of QPR, but this is the shortest, quickest, and I'd like to think the most entertaining of them all. Jared, you've been with us for now nearly a year on Terrace Talk, so to mark that anniversary, we'd like to find out just a little bit more about your backstory. Michael, just forgive us for a second for removing you. Don't go anywhere. We will be bringing you back. So I've got some very cheesy background music somewhere, which I'd like to play into this feed. Quick fire, 60-second questions, telling us a little bit about you and how you fell in love with the hoops. What was your first game, Jared, and how come you ended up being a Rangers supporter?
So I have no idea what my first game was. My dad started taking me when I was 3 years old. He can't remember the first game. He used to live a couple of streets away from QPR, and that's how he started. And then obviously forced me into it, a lifetime of pain. But the first game I can remember, probably 1990, an FA Cup replay against Arsenal at QPR. Kelly Sansom and Andy Simpson scored the goals under the lights. Just can remember so much about it. That's the first game that I can really remember.
Okay. Who's your favourite player growing up to watch?
Roy Wegley or Les Ferdinand, probably. Wegley was so skillful. That goal against Leeds, kind of can watch it on loop. But probably in that early 90s period, Les Ferdinand was just different class, really.
Talk us through your match day routine briefly.
Match day routines changed over the years. It's gone from going up early with friends, having lunch, watching the 12 o'clock kickoff, and now it's taking my son to football. My parents go as well, so it's kind of a family affair, really. Brilliant.
And your favourite away day?
Favourite away day, whatever, or what ground do I enjoy?
What ground do you always like going to, just as a trip?
Quite like Southampton, actually. Our record there is not bad, not too far to go, near the town centre. So yeah, okay. So that one.
And hard one, this one finally. But what's your favourite QPR match of all time that will stick with you forever, and you tell the grandkids about?
It's a playoff final, I think. My best friends from school were there. My mum and dad, my sister, my nephews, my brother-in-law. We all went up together for the day, and yeah, that last-minute goal. I don't think it's a memory any of us would ever forget, to be honest.
All right, thank you very much for indulging us in that. Appreciate it. And Michael, it'll be your turn next week as we find out a little bit more about how you fell into the hoop trap. I've always wanted to. I've never asked you, Jared. Were you there at the Etihad for the most famous goal of all time with Aguero?
Yeah, we were sitting right by the Man City fans in the top tier, and when we were 2-1 up, genuinely I feared for our lives the full time. They were not happy, and then when Aguero scored, they ripped up the netting and just jumped over celebrating with us. Yeah, it was again a memorable day.
That's right, because we will forget you stayed up on that day, didn't you? In Bolton, I think Bolton went down.
We found out that we had survived about 20 seconds before Aguero scored, so we were celebrating. And then we're like, "You may as well win it, lads." And yeah, what a day!
Still Sean Wright Phillips' fault, I think. If he hadn't have, it was a foul, wasn't there, or a throw in? I think he could.
We hoofed it straight. Yeah.
So he hoofed it straight out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Never mind. Right. Thank you very much, then, Jared. Thank you two. Enjoy your trip to Blackburn, and we will catch you on the other side of your trip to Ewood Park. See you next week.
Thank you.
Take care. Cheers.